Gamers, welcome back to the Outrealm. I have good news today, which is frankly not something I find myself saying too frequently these days. I have been waiting to do any kind of talk on the Switch 2 situation. I did watch the reaction or do a reaction to the direct over on my main channel. But over here, I just like to talk about the news and stuff that's going on. And there was a bit of a tariff situation that frankly is still ongoing in the United States that kind of made it pointless for me to really talk about much of anything because there was nothing concrete. And as you'll find out, we do have things spelled out pretty clearly for the most part in black and white down there. I still don't know that I entirely trust it. If I can be transparent politically for just a moment, it's a bit of a dumpster fire here in the United States currently. And frankly, I don't know what is and isn't real anymore. I don't know who's getting tariffed. I don't know what tariffs involve anymore. Because frankly, it changes so frequently. A little bit sporadically on top of that. So I don't know what to trust. So I'm just going to go through this article and hopefully bring peace of mind to myself and you as we learn a little bit more about this. So that said, I would also like to extend an apologies to the rest of the North America continent, our neighbors and friends in Canada and Mexico. Sorry that this weird tariff stuff also affected your pre-order window. But that's a good segue into, hey, the Switch 2 Direct happened. There was supposed to be a pre-order window. That pre-order window no longer existed after the tariff war that ensued. And then there was like a 90-day pause, but then also it was only going to affect certain things. I don't know what reality is anymore. It's worth to point out, though, that in January, I believe there was a listing for a Nintendo position that specifically dealt with pricing and tariffs. So it seems like Nintendo had a pretty good idea that this was certainly a possibility of something they were going to have to contend with the Switch 2 launch. And I mean, the timing alone is just awful for them. As a Nintendo fan, I feel bad for them in that respect. Like anytime anybody does a big game launch or product launch or anything like that, the last thing they want to deal with is unexpected price changes that they're going to have to figure out. And frankly, the Switch 2 was already dealing with a lot of controversy throughout the Mario Kart World Direct and the Switch 2 Direct. People were saying, what is this price? Right? Days of Treehouse. It's just people in comments saying, drop the price. It's really unfortunate then that tariffs would increase the price even more because that's how it works. It's a tax on consumers. Hello. So what that means is a lot of people are speculating that A, the Switch 2 price would go up, or B, Nintendo would eat the cost. And it seems as though Nintendo is eating the cost. It says here, Nintendo maintains Nintendo Switch 2 pricing. Retail pre-orders begin on April 24th. So not only is the Switch 2 pre-order price not changing, it's also not changing for Mario Kart World or Donkey Kong Bonanza, which even people feel like that's already too expensive. We are also having confirmed that the pre-orders for retailers will begin on the 24th, which is next week. Of course, you've always been able to kind of secure a spot for pre-order if you were getting it through Nintendo directly. You had to go to their website. You had to have so many hours on your Nintendo Switch, I think, to help kind of curb the scalper market a bit, so you get it directly from Nintendo. But me personally, I'm a Best Buy guy. I have all my warranties and stuff through my Best Buy rewards and all that through Best Buy. So I like to buy my things through Best Buy. But I will go through Nintendo directly when I have to, directly. And so retail pre-orders are starting on the 24th, which is great. At launch, the price for Nintendo Switch 2 in the US will remain as announced on the 2nd at $149.99, and the bundle with Mario Kart World also staying at $149.99. Pricing for the physical and digital versions of Mario Kart World is staying at $79.99, and Donkey Kong Bonanza DKB for short, is staying at $69.99. This will also remain unchanged at launch. Now that's pretty key. That's pretty key. At a launch. It's remaining the same for the pre-order window, and it's remaining the same at launch. So, they do go on to say that Nintendo Switch 2 accessories will experience price adjustments from those announced on the 2nd due to market conditions. It's tariffs. Other adjustments to any other adjustments to the price of any Nintendo product are also possible in the future, depending on market conditions. So, what this means is they're kind of building in a bit of a buffer zone for them to be like, hey, we're definitely, almost certainly, probably, but also definitely, yes, eating the cost of this because you all think this is already too damn high. Okay, we get that. We love that. However, other adjustments may come in the future. And I can't blame them. Because I don't know what the future's like 10 days from now. Let alone someone who's trying to plan product launches, a year plus out. They went on to apologize for the retail pre-order delay and hope that this reduces some of the uncertainty our customers may be experiencing. So again, I think this is kind of a nod to them being like, hey, we're throwing you a bone. We know this sucks. Everything is already really expensive. Please buy our stuff. I think is more or less what they're getting at. They went on to thank customers for their patience and share the excitement for the Nintendo Switch 2 launch starting June 5th. I think ultimately this was the right move. I went on to see speculation that it was going to be like a 1.49 increase, which would have put the Switch 2 just under like $700, like maybe $50. Like it was getting expensive for what it was. And when you have stuff that's already really expensive, the barrier to entry of that, no matter if you want to pay it, if you are excited about it, if you're not upset about the cost of this stuff, even if you wanted it, there is a price at which it is too expensive and you just cannot do it. I think they were very quickly getting into that territory, and I think they knew that. So this part is, for me, pure speculation. Okay? It does say that it will remain unchanged at launch. It does not say after launch. Okay? So typically there's a period of time that they consider to be pre-order, and there's a period of time where they consider to be launch. Okay? Could be a week, could be a month, could be 2 months, could be until holiday season. You don't know. What happens after launch is curious because of this statement down here. Any product, not new, any, which includes existing, which could be all of this, okay? And that's a little concerning. So, not to give you FOMO, because that's the last thing, anybody in the gaming space needs right now, let alone life itself. I think they're kind of nodding to the fact that this could go up in the future, depending on variables, as they say, in the market. How soon after launch that could be, I don't know. Who's to say? They also specifically only call out these two games, which may be their only launch titles. I don't know. It may be the only titles that they have actually put prices on at this point. I don't know. Hard to say. A lot of the information that came out during the Direct has been pulled down from websites and things like that, specifically because, the pre-order window went away, prices are changing, tariffs are awful, yada, yada. I think now, in hindsight, also, that's probably why they didn't put a price directly in the Switch 2 Direct. Because it's a lot easier to change a website page than it is to edit out a video that has debuted and gone live on YouTube to a ton of people who have, for instance, done reacts and now have their own version of the Switch 2 Direct on their own YouTube channel. So can't really edit those, even if you edit your own. So I think in hindsight now that makes a lot of sense that they were probably anticipating a lot of uncertainty about this, and they figured just direct people to websites that they could update later. That makes a lot of sense. So that said, there was some price adjustments to the accessories and stuff in here. I don't remember exactly what the original prices were slated to be. I feel like 120 for a Switch dock is hella expensive. So I feel like that has gone up at least like maybe $20. I feel in my bones, I feel like it was $99.99. Switch 2 Pro controller is $84.99. I feel like that's probably up like maybe $10 or so, maybe only $5. I don't know. But I did go through and find some of the accessories. It seems like there's a little bit of variation based on what is manufactured where in the country of origin here. So like the carrying case up here seems pretty basic, honestly, right? China. The AC adapter, right? Just the plug. China. Switch 2 Pro controller. Cambodia. Interesting. And then you have things like the Switch 2 camera. You have the Joy-Con controllers. You have the wheel set for the Joy-Con controllers. You have the dock itself, all coming from Vietnam. So I don't know if there was maybe some strategic mindset at play about what was getting manufactured where. I don't know that they could switch that on the drop of a dime. So probably not, if I had to guess. But I think that just based on the variability of where certain things are made, that's kind of dictating how much these prices change, because not everything is made in the same country. I just pulled a couple that had a total of 3 different places where things were being made, for example. So, and that's why I think there's no like set, well, everything went up 15% from what it used to be, right? That's why the Joy-Con pair maybe is more expensive than a Pro controller. I don't know. I'm not a marketing price guy, okay? I like video game and I play video game. That's kind of where I'm at in my life. But it's worth noting that at least the basic stuff that you're hoping to get your hands on, the launch game of Mario Kart World or Donkey Kong Bonanza, that is still the price. You're still allowed to be frustrated by how expensive that is. The Switch 2 is not changing in price. You are also allowed to be upset about how expensive that is, at least for the pre-order and launch period. But I will point out again that it seems like they are potentially eating the cost of those things for the time being. And I think that in a sea of L's that Nintendo has kind of taken with the launch of the Switch 2 and the announcement and everything, shareholder saw the price go down, fully understand. They're at least doing something good by eating the cost, at least initially, so the barrier of entry for getting the console and one of the launch games is not astronomically higher than what it would have been. And for that, I think Nintendo deserves a little bit of applause. Okay? If that is the case. So, that said, certified Nintendo fanboy over here saying that I will be getting the Switch 2. I was waiting to see what the tariff stuff was going to do to the Switch 2. And I mean, if it was going to be $700, as someone who has gotten every Nintendo console basically at launch since the Nintendo 64, I was probably going to sit that one out. But, I see them as eating the tariff cost, basically, so people can still get their hands on the system, which, at the end of the day, I think is a good thing that they did. So, I'll be pre-ordering. Let me know if you'll pre-order in the comments below. That's all we got right now. If we have more updates, I will try to bring you more info. But thanks for joining us in the Outrealm. I hope you have a fantastic day. See you in the next one.